My arms were stretched high above me. I couldn't see. I couldn't speak. I could only hear their footsteps. 2 sets closing in. I was breathless, trapped, and I had no idea what they'd do next. But I wanted them to. Before we jump in, this one came out a little faster than it was supposed to. But I couldn't wait to share it. Let me know if it still hit the mark for you. Let's begin. I had already said yes. There was no turning back now. The sheets were clean. The lights dimmed just enough. Candles flickered across the room, casting soft shadows over the space I'd prepared, deliberately, obsessively, down to the last detail. I kept adjusting things that didn't need adjusting, wiping down surfaces, straightening pillows, anything to keep my hands busy. I walked back to the mirror. One last look. The black lace fit just right, draping softly over skin I hadn't shown in a long time. I turned slightly, checking the back, then the front again. I hadn't dressed to hide. That was the point. My heart was racing, not with fear, but with something harder to define. A sharp pulse of anxiety and anticipation tangled together in my chest. I had no idea what to expect. I only knew what I had asked for. I slid a finger along my collarbone, breathing out slowly. Every part of me felt alive, hypersensitive. The cool air moved over my skin, heightening everything. I sat down for a moment, then stood up again. The door was still locked, still quiet, but both of them were coming. That had been the agreement. I thought about saying no, about changing my mind, about texting and calling it off. But I didn't, because beneath the nerves, I wanted it. All of it. Everything I'd never tried, never allowed myself to want. That was what tonight was about. No pretending, no control, just surrender. And then I heard it. 3 slow knocks. It was time. They stood at the door, both of them. Neither spoke. The tall one stepped forward first, his movement slow and deliberate. He didn't ask if I was ready. He didn't have to. Something in his presence, calm, towering, quiet, left no room for questions. He stopped inches from me. I could smell the faint scent of leather on his jacket. Then, without a word, he lifted his hands and slipped the cover over my eyes. The light vanished. My world narrowed to breath and sound. The air thickened. My breathing changed. I heard the door click shut behind me. Then nothing. Just the hum of silence and the awareness of my own heartbeat. I was already shaking, and he hadn't even started. Then I perceived him behind me, close. His arm looped around my waist, then settled there, grounding. I held still, uncertain, tense, but I didn't move away. I didn't want to. He adjusted the angle of my stance, moving me like I wasn't in charge of myself anymore. I let him. Each small shift sent a shock through my legs. My breath caught when he nudged my knees apart. I obeyed. The cover over my eyes heightened everything. His footsteps, the whisper of fabric, the sound of his breath when he stepped in closer. I was aware of him behind me, the firmness of his grip around my waist, the steady pressure as he guided me further into his control. Then he moved. No asking, no warning, just doing exactly what I'd asked for. My mouth parted on instinct. A sound slipped out. Quiet, needy. My hands lifted slightly, then hovered, unsure of where to go, unsure of what I was allowed to do. I'd never felt so exposed, so vulnerable, so incredibly alive. He was slow at first, but never soft. He handled me like something to be claimed, positioned, tested, made to respond. His rhythm was steady, unrelenting, like he was teaching my body how to listen to his. Every second dragged and surged at the same time. I tried to stay composed, to hold still, but it didn't take long before I couldn't. Every shift sent a jolt through me. My breath fractured. My legs trembled. I was spiraling fast, hard, and deeper than I thought I could go. He adjusted his grip, holding me tighter, making sure I didn't move away. I didn't need to see. I perceived everything. His grip, his rhythm, the raw control that stripped away thought and left only sensation. The pressure built my mind, blurred. I moaned louder than before. I didn't care who heard. And then I unraveled. It rushed through me, sharp and sudden, in heat. Release. Collapse. I gasped out loud, helpless to stop it, trembling under the weight of it all. When my knees started to give out, he held me through it, firm, silent, steady. Only when it passed did he let go. He stepped back without a word. I stayed where I was, unsteady, trembling, completely undone. I'd never experienced such surrender before. And the part I didn't expect, I needed more. The second man closed in slower, heavier. He didn't speak, just approached with quiet certainty, like we both already knew what came next. I sensed him before I was aware of his proximity. His presence was heavier, denser, different. He closed around my wrists and raised them above my head. A firm hold followed, steady and certain. My arms stretched high and stayed there. I barely had time to process it before a soft band slid between my lips and fastened behind my head. Now, I couldn't see, couldn't speak, couldn't move. He said nothing. Then he reached my legs, confident, unwavering. He shifted my stance and stepped in. I staggered slightly. The tension above held me. He pressed into my skin with practiced control, measuring how far I'd let him take me. There was no pause. He handled me like someone completely in charge. No buildup, just motion, pressure, and certainty. He adjusted my stance and moved me into place, setting the rhythm on his own terms. I jolted with every shift. I gasped against the band. The sound went nowhere. He moved with purpose, measured, unrelenting. My knees wavered, but I stayed upright. His grip never faltered. Every motion sent something deeper pulsing through me. I moaned behind the cover, helpless, overwhelmed, and flushed with heat. It was more than I expected, and I couldn't stop what was coming. I lost control. The pressure rose too fast, spilling past every limit I thought I had. I came apart, shaking where I hung, head tilted back, breath exploding in short, fractured bursts. He held me steady, carrying me through it, not letting go until every wave passed. Then everything stilled. He stepped away, and the quiet swallowed the room. I didn't collapse. I couldn't. I stayed there, suspended, trembling, covered, breathless, completely undone. I was still restrained, mouth covered, eyes concealed, barely upright. My arms ached from being held so long above my head, my legs shaking beneath me. Breath shallow through the restraint. But I hadn't come down, not fully, not even close. I perceived the shift first. The thick air pulled tighter around my skin. Another presence entered. Slower steps. No voice. But I knew he was back. A new grip found my waist, firmer, more decisive. I tensed, but it didn't matter. I couldn't move. The other man was still there. He never left. I was caught between them, lifted, controlled, completely open. Then came the movement. They adjusted me, like I weighed nothing. My feet were spread wider, my back arched. The support above creaked with the shift. One of them stood behind me now, his presence heavy against the curve of my spine. I didn't need to guess what was coming. The pressure arrived fast. Not slow, not gentle, just a shift that felt foreign, overwhelming, and unstoppable. I reacted instinctively, head thrown back, breath caught behind the cover. One of them anchored my waist, the other braced my legs. I was locked in place, claimed. Before I could adjust, the second man moved in closer. His hands circled my neck. Not tight, just there. And then came a second rhythm, both of them moving together. One behind, one in front, unyielding, intense, perfectly in control. There was no pause, no build-up, just motion, sharp, relentless. Their movements took over, measured, unrelenting. I couldn't see them. I couldn't speak, but I perceived everything. The tension, the heat, the weight, where I'd never been pushed before. Physically, completely. And underneath it all, the way I responded, over and over. I should have broken instantly, but I didn't. I needed it. I didn't know whose hands gripped where, or who shifted me next, only that every movement hit deeper. I was lit up, desperate, aching. Nothing existed but sensation. They didn't slow down. Sometimes they moved together, sometimes out of sync, overlapping movements, alternating control, no space to think. A hand gripped my hair. Another guided my chin. I shook between them, muffled cries lost in the restraint. And still, I wasn't finished. The first wave came fast, rushing through me in hard bursts, knocking the strength from my legs. But they didn't let go. They held me upright and kept going, each motion driving deeper. The second wave came slower. I arched again, arms straining against the support. I trembled in their grip, mouth parted, but silent. I didn't think I could take more, but I did. I was aware of them together, overlapping, each moment pushing me further than the last. And then I came apart. The final wave tore through me, sudden and blinding. I didn't cry out. I didn't breathe. I trembled so hard I couldn't hold still. My thoughts scattered. I faltered. I wasn't in control anymore, and I didn't want to be. They held me steady as I unraveled again and again until there was nothing left. Only then did they stop. The room fell still. Their hands slipped away. But I stayed in place, still covered, still unable to see, still shaking, still not finished. This one was rushed. I'll admit it. But I still hope you enjoyed it. Be honest. Have you ever met a woman who left you speechless? One who went further than you ever expected? What happened? Tell me in the comments. I'm reading them all. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you're first to know when the next video drops. Thanks for watching.